All right, now we're going to take a look at confidence intervals. So when we conducted the hypothesis tests, there was information about the population that we had to know beforehand in order to form our null and alternative hypothesis. For the proportions, that information was P, the population proportion. However, in reality, there are a lot of cases where we may not know the population proportion for the population that we want to do some sort of study on. We may be coming into this as the first people to do the study, or we may have data that is so out of date that it's really not a good idea to try and test against that really outdated information. So one of the things that we can do when this occurs is we can create what's called a confidence interval. And the confidence interval is going to help us estimate where the population proportion may fall. So it's not going to give us quite as definite of an answer as the hypothesis test in terms of this is right, this is wrong, sort of an answer. But what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, well, we don't know where P is for sure, but we know it's somewhere between these two numbers. So the first thing we need in order to do a confidence interval is we need to come up with a point estimate. And the point estimate is basically our best guess at a starting point for what the population proportion might be. So the point estimate is a single value used to estimate the population value. So for proportions, we're trying to estimate P, which is the population proportion, and our best guess for what P could be is going to be P hat, which is that sample proportion. And hopefully you recall that P hat is found by taking X divided by N. X is the number of individuals with the trait or characteristic that we're looking for. And N is the sample size. So this is our point estimate, our starting point to then build our confidence interval around this value. So this is the idea of what we're going to do to create our confidence intervals and our starting point for those confidence intervals.